question, we're trying to find the maximum height achieved when a rock is launched from a slingshot at 50 meters per second at an angle of 80 degrees. So I've sketched it below. You can see it travels along a parabolic arc, as all projectiles do, and we're trying to figure out how high it goes. What is the maximum height this ball achieves? Right at the apex, vertical height. So really what we're looking for is dy. Trying to find dy. Now, as usual, when you've got a velocity that's at an angle, your first step is to always break it down into its two components. There's an x component and a y component. And by now we should be fully used to how to actually get these two values. The y component, since it's opposite to the angle, will be sine. So it'll be 50 sine 80. The x component, because it's adjacent, will be cos, 50 cos 80. So I'll end up getting a couple of values. You guys can check my work, and I encourage you to do. Vx is 8.7 meters per second, and V initial y is fairly large, 49.2 meters per second, and it's on its way up. So I'm going to make sure I remember that's positive. Now let's begin our question. Set it up into our two directions. We've got our horizontal direction and our vertical direction. Horizontally, we've only got three variables. Vx, which is 8.7, always 8.7 at all points on the path. Dx, I don't know. Time to the peak, I don't know. V initial in the y we figured out using sine was 49.2 meters per second. And since it's on its way up initially, we say it's positive. V final, when you're at the very peak of the path, trying to find the maximum height, your velocity is all in the x at this point. So your velocity at the peak is only horizontal. So your overall velocity at the peak is 8.7 meters per second to the right, but V final in the y at this point would be 0. It's like throwing a ball straight up in the air vertically. So V final in the y is 0 meters per second. Put a little star beside that. We're trying to find dy. I don't know time, but we know acceleration is negative 9.8. So let's avoid equations with t in it. And if we look at our formula list, I've got V final squared is V initial squared plus 2AD. V final is 0. V initial vertically is 49.2. 2 times negative 9.8 times dy. So bringing all of this to the other side, 2 times negative 9.8 is negative 19.6. And if I bring all of that to the other side, I get positive 19.6. D is 49.2 squared, which means D is 49.2 squared, all divided by 19.6, which gives me dy is 124 meters. And it's positive because it's on the way up.